こんにちは、ヨカワユキです。今日はですね、カナダ人のお友達クリスのリアルトーク第3弾をお送りしようと思っています。で、第1弾、第2弾とね、クリスがどんな人かとか、あと、カナダとアメリカの違いは何なのかみたいな話してきましたけども、第3弾はですね、コンビニについての話ですね。カナダと、日本のコンビニ事情を少し話しているのと、あとはですね、クリスが大のファミチキファンらしいんですね。ファミリーマートに売ってるフライドチキンですね。ファミチキがすごい大好きなので、いかにファミチキが素晴らしいものかってことをですね、熱く熱く熱く熱く語ってくれましたので、その辺もですね、楽しんでいただけると幸いでございます。で、最後はですね、欧米の文化についてもちょっとまた触れてるところもあるので、その辺に興味がある方もですね、ぜひご覧になっていただければ嬉しいです。それでは、行ってみましょう。どうぞ。So you came to Japan twice, right?
Oh, more than twice. I've been there
Oh, really?
probably
Twice? Oh,
I've probably
sorry.
been there like maybe 7 or 8 times by now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I
I
didn't
mean,
know that.
some of it was business, some of it was pleasure, and some of it was just like, I had a couple of days and, there was an opportunity there. I just like to go as often as I can, but I don't get very many opportunities, so I just go when I have the time, basically.
Uh-huh, I see, I see. Yeah, yeah, I didn't know that. So, uh, yeah, could you tell me some experience in your travel in Japan?
Well, I mean, is there a specific type of experience you're looking for, or just
Mhm,
anything, like anything in particular?
Yeah, yeah. So ね、何がいいかな? For example, like what I enjoyed in Japan in your travel, and also you need to know. I don't know. You need to tell about famichiki, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, like here, it's such a big country in Canada that there's so much empty space and there's no people anywhere, right? The population density is very low, so we don't
Mhm.
have convenience stores all over the place. We have to drive 10 kilometers to get to a convenience store. But in Japan, they're on every block, every corner has like two or three convenience stores. You got your Family Mart, your Lawson's, your Circle K, 7-Eleven, all this stuff, right? And it just makes it so convenient. It's almost convenient to a fault. It's like you can't look in any direction without seeing one. But
Mhm.
yeah, as soon as I discovered Family Mart and I discovered all the pastries that they have, and of course the chicken, it was like the best food I ever had in my life, which is probably, insulting a lot of people because there's a lot of good quality, gourmet food out there to be tried. But I go for the garbage, I go for the greasy chicken. But I
Uh-huh.
like the famichiki. It was probably the comfort food that I had when I was there. Anytime I was feeling bored or depressed or something, I just had to have some chicken to make me feel better. And it wasn't even just the chicken; it was the packaging too. You got this little paper envelope that you could almost put in the mailbox and send to somebody. It was almost packaged so well that you could mail it, and it had little pictures of little birds on it and a piece of tape to keep it closed and a perforated line so you could tear it open without getting your hands greasy. I mean, somebody put a lot of effort into thinking about designing this product, so I just feel like any country that puts this much effort into their fried chicken garbage food, it's got to be worth visiting multiple times. Like you got to keep going back and back because this is the best place ever, right? That's the impression that it left on me. It's just, when I get on the plane to go home, 30% of my depression is coming from missing the Family Mart chicken.
30% is that's a lot.
Yeah, well, I got to leave some in there for missing my friends and stuff too.
Uh-huh.
I mean, obviously they're kind of important, but Family Mart chicken, you can't forget that.
I see, I see. But yeah, yeah, I can understand. And the package is well, I think sometimes I feel that the Japanese product is has like too much package, but in Canada they don't use a lot of package maybe.
No,
Mhm.
you'd be lucky if you get a napkin or something for your greasy chicken.
Oh.
That's why you get your fingers all covered in grease. But then you start licking your fingers, right? I mean that's part of like KFC, right? Their slogan, finger
Uh-huh.
licking good.
Uh-huh.
Where do you think they got that slogan from? It's because people were getting grease all over their fingers and they had to lick them clean at the end. So that's where they came up with that slogan. But I couldn't see that happening in Japan because there'd be too many safety nets, too many preventive measures to stop that from happening.
Did you eat chicken in other convenience stores like 7-Eleven or maybe
Yeah,
Lawson?
I had the Lawson's chicken, but it just wasn't quite the same. It was good, I liked it, but it wasn't as good as Family Mart. Family Mart still has the crown, the championship. They're the number one. Ichiban
Well,
toriniku.
一番鶏肉。Yeah, that's right. 一番鶏肉ね。そうね。I mean, is it your taste, you mean, or whole thing?
The whole presentation, the
Oh,
packaging, the taste, there's an ineffable quality to the meat that just can't be put into words. It's just but it's really the whole impression that it makes.
I
I
see.
consider myself a loyal member of the Family Mart community now. I'm loyal to them, to the brand.
Uh-huh.
I'm a Family Mart fanboy.
I see, I
Yeah.
see. Right. I see. Thank you. So, and also, how about convenience stores? I mean, yeah, you mentioned that like Japan has a lot of convenience stores, and I think so too, because actually in my area, around like from my house to maybe within 10 minutes walking, I can find 6 convenience stores actually.
Well, that's a lot of convenience stores, right? And that's
Yes.
just a random route that you have to take. I mean, just imagine somebody else, right? Somebody else might pass 8 of them.
Yeah, that's right. So, how about in Canada? You don't have a lot of convenience stores.
We have like 7-Eleven and maybe
Mm-hmm.
some no-name convenience stores, like independently owned convenience stores, but not really chain stores. So I would say 7-Eleven is probably one of the bigger chains.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, they're not very many of them. There might be like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 in all of Toronto.
Uh-huh.
So the whole city might have no more than 6 or 7 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
It's only my neighborhood number.
Yeah. No, I know. So I mean, for us, it's like, just divide by 100 or something.
Wow. I see. So in that case, most of people buy some food or snacks from where?
Well, we buy real food from the grocery store. So there are a
Oh.
lot of grocery stores. Those we have
Mm,
quite a few of. And I noticed that in Japan, it's the opposite. Not very many grocery stores in the city. Probably there are some in the suburbs or maybe in the rural
mm,
areas, but just
mm.
not in the city. You won't find them in Tokyo. You won't
Yeah.
find them in Osaka. But
Mm.
you find the convenience stores because that's what carries everything that people need for day-to-day use, right? All your juices and your eggs and whatever. But we have lots of grocery stores because grocery stores take up a lot of space, a lot of inventory, and we have the space. I imagine that Japan figured that it was more efficient to have convenience stores because they're just smaller, but we have lots of space, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Sometimes I go to Costco in Japan,
Yeah.
and yeah, there was so many inventory and so many parking lots, and then everything is large, and also product is also large.
Yeah. Well, Costco is bulk food, so everything is huge,
Yeah.
but you pay less for it, right? That's the deal.
Yeah. So I always think that I wish my room was more bigger. In that case, I would buy something from Costco and then stock it. But unfortunately, my room is not that big. So
Well, we do that here. Everybody's house is like a miniature grocery store in a sense. We have our basements and our garages full of garbage that we don't really need because we bought it on sale. That's the psychology of marketing. If you can put something on sale for 15% off, people will go crazy and they'll just buy a ton of it. And then they don't need it, so they're just going to throw it in their basement anyway, and then their basement becomes a storage facility of sorts. They end up with all this crap they didn't need, right? And they spend more money in the end anyway because they end up wasting a lot of the stuff that they buy, especially if it goes bad, like fruits, vegetables, whatever. They're going to go in the garbage because they bought too much.
yeah.
That's how
Right.
Costco stays in business.
But waste of
product. I mean, waste of food and a waste of products.
Yeah, it's a waste.
Yeah, we say
But
like
haven't you noticed
もったいない
that the West is all about that? The West is all about waste,
Ah,
consumption and waste. That's like, we love those two things in the West: consumption and waste. Just
yeah. I
eat
have
as much
heard
as you can and throw everything else in the garbage and create huge mountains of garbage and then ship that garbage to other countries who will buy it from you.
I have heard that kind of thing in like I don't know the class in university.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
and
it's
you so too.
you get sick of it after a while. You wish that you could have a simpler life sometimes. That's why a lot of people move out of the city when they get older, because when you're young, everything is cool and high tech and awesome. And then when you get older, you realize, I'm sick of this. This is not making me happy. This is just an illusion. So then they want to leave the city and go and live a simpler life outside the city. Where there's
Yeah,
less.
right. Yeah, I mean, the minimalist is I don't know. It's kind of like a few Japanese people is like minimalist, but that culture is also I think from Western culture.
I mean, like it exists here. I mean, like I said, there are people who are they have the clarity of thought and to know better that we can't just keep being decadent and abusing everything around us and being so self-centered all the time. It does make you feel empty inside if you live like that for long enough, which is why a lot of people tend to travel, actually, because when they travel, they get the perspective of seeing how other cultures live and how much happier you can be with less. Not to say that Japan is one of those countries that I mean, I don't mean it has less. I mean, Japan is a rich first world country also, but it just people tend not to be so gluttonous in Japan. I don't know if you know that word, but gluttonous is kind of like just consuming as much as you can in as short a time as possible. It's this very selfish kind of consuming attitude that, and I just don't find that you guys have as much of that.
In Japan, we have like words, もったいない. Maybe you know that word,
Yeah.
もったいない.
Yeah.
That are kind of like one of the Japanese culture, I think. But of course, the time passed, and then I'm not so sure the younger people how the younger people think about もったいない culture. But even so, I don't want to waste something usually because I feel もったいない all the time.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I think it's normal for us to feel like that, but a lot of people are just in a daydream going through their life, so they don't really think about it anymore. Especially, like you said, the younger generations are kind of trained to think that it's normal to just use everything and take advantage of everything and take everything for granted. I try to be realistic about my life. I don't think that I'm living in Africa in some war-torn area of the world. Obviously I have better than that. But at the same time, do I really need to supersize my fries? Do I really need to buy, $100 worth of toilet paper? Like, is this necessary? We can do better than that, I think, as a country, as a culture, I would say.
はい、というわけで、第3弾のビデオいかがでしたでしょうか。ファミチキ皆さん食べに行きたくなりましたか。ファミチキですね、そこまで私深く考えたこととかなかったですしね、そんなに食べたこともないということで、クリスのそのファミチキへの愛というか、ファミチキを見るこの視点というかですね、それが非常に新鮮で、私はすごく話していて面白かったです。であとはね、カナダやっぱり土地が広い上に人はそんなにいないということで、何でもかんでもでかいということでね、そうですよね、家とかも大きいしね、日本とはその辺が全然生活スタイルが違うんじゃないかなっていうところで、それもなるほどねっていうふうに思ったりした次第ですね。でクリストのビデオはですね、もう一つだけ次上げる予定でいます。で次回はですね、主に英語を勉強してる方々に対して、クリスがアドバイスするならどんなアドバイスがあるかなっていうことをですね、ちょっと聞いたりしているのと、あとはですね、英語のアクセント、いわゆる訛りって言ってもいいですかね、いわゆるその地方の特徴的な英語の話し方についてもいろいろお話を聞いたりしているので、その辺について関心興味ある方はですね、ぜひご覧になっていただけると嬉しいです。 はい、というわけで、今日もご視聴くださりどうもありがとうございました。チャンネル登録と高評価、ぜひぜひよろしくお願いいたします。それから感想もコメントでお待ちしています。あとですね、カナダについてこんなこと知りたいなとか、もしあればコメントでお知らせいただけると嬉しいです。はい、次、クリスとね、またお話しするときに、そういう話もしてビデオで上げられたら嬉しいなと思うので、もしあったらですね、それもお知らせください。というわけで、今日も本当にありがとうございました。では次のビデオでまた会いましょう。また。